Hello students, this video is for modeling guideline for using how to using sweep tools mainly and combine and not in the center line directions when you handle with. First, let's talk about the sweep tool. And because when we see this object, then from now you can briefly thinking about how to create it. Like for example, for this shade in here, like you can using a revolve tool to creating this shape. And this bottom one is basically like a two disc shape. So like in using an extrude tool to create it. And for here, like this is not from the center, but little like out of, not vertical, but like a diagonal side of the center line using a revolve tool again to creating this shape. And maybe for this attachment here, you can using an extrude tool to create as a flat shape. But the tools that we didn't and for this one we can also use a revolve tool for the shaft. And for here I'm not sure this is like a whether flat or spear shape. But I think if this is flat then it's probably shape of the disc, then you can using an extrude tool. Or if this is spear shape, then you can using a revolve tool to create it. However, this like a rounded pipeline is something we didn't learn to create it, which kind of tool, because like an extrude tool only created either in the like a vertical side of the sketches, and revolve tool only create in the rounding tool. And if there is no tool, we have learned to create this kind of very like a curvature pipeline, because if the cylinder pipeline is like a straight then we can use extrude tool or the revolve tool. But this kind of curvature pipeline, we need special tool which call the sweep in here. And to using a sweep, then we basically need two sketches. First is the center lines of the pipeline, center pass of the pipeline that you want to create it. So in our cases, with that will be like this center line in here will be our center lines of this of the center line that we will try to create it. So as you can see, it will follow along center lines of here. And the second one is we need a profile. So profile, side section views, profiles of this pipeline, which is follow along these curves. And creating a plane, new construction plane, because we need to create a sketch to create which the plane that which follow along this curvature is called in here plane along path. And when you click it, then as you can see here, like you can creating a sketch from the areas that you want it, which will be follow along the path as the name says so. And usually for the sweep, I recommend you start either in the start or the end of the sketches. This cases, I will start from here. And we know that this shape would be like a circle. So you can, and as you can see here, since our sketches follow along the path of this like a guide rail, center rail, so 0 point will be exact same position with our center lines in here. And probably this is the thicknesses of it. And And from here, how to using a sweep is create, select the sweep tool. And as you can see here, there's a called profile, which is the section shapes of this pipeline, and the path, which will be the main path of our pipelines, curvature pipeline. So as you can see here, we already create first, we create a path, and then we're creating a profile using play along path to creating a plane and then using a sketch tool to create it. So let's select the profile and select the path. And as you can see here, then it's automatically creating a pipeline which is flow along the curves that we created. So usually we are using this kind of stuff like using some straight curvature of the pipelines and creating some string stuff or this kind of very organic shapes, then we are using sweep tools to create it. And also you can choose diverse like shape. For example, let's go back to our sketches, which is the second sketch, which when we draw the profile, we can only draw like a various, say, for example, we go to the polygon and we can draw hexagonal shapes or even some kind of like a star shape if you want, or even some rectangular shape if you want. And from here, as you can see, if I choose like a sweep and select the center line, then it's already created. And then it's also going to creating a new body in here. And as you can realize is like if you want to creating a hole in the center like this, then you can also select creating like a hexagonal shape in the outer and the square shape as a whole in the internal. So that is also so when you're using the sweep, then it is important to creating imagine of the section view, whether it is full solid or it has some shells in there, like what kind of shape of the hole you can create it, as circle as possible. Or if you select the profile in like a rectangular, then you will have like a rectangular pipelines in there. Or like a circular pipeline with square holes in there. So there's a bunch of ways you can create it, your own shape of the pipelines in here. But this time I'll just go for the center one, like a circular one that we created. Okay. And from here, I think like the hardest one is done. So, and as you can see here, this front view will be the main sketches. So let's go follow, let's creating a new sketch in the front line. And I'm gonna start with this shape in here. And for here, I'll probably start with drawing the horizontal from end to end. And I'm gonna using an arc tool to create this shape. But this is not very horizontal. Okay, then I'll using a spline tool. But before that, I will just make sure that I'll draw a center line for our this main shader, and also I'm gonna draw another center line for this cup to make sure that these are perpendicular to each other. Okay. And from here, I will using a spline tool. And the important part in this is since we're going to revolve it, right? And to revolve and make sure that this line is smoothly connected, and make sure to this line should must be vertical, perpendicular with our center line. For example, if this is not, if like this, then you will know this will create some like a hole and on the top, or if like this, then it will create some horns in there to make sure and to this into the right for perpendicular to each other like this. And I'll just a little bit to match the shape of this pendant. And I'm gonna do the exact same things on this part as well. From here, from to here will be like a vertical. And from here looks like some organic shapes, like little horns in here, as you can see. And again, if you want some like smooth, because like as you can see, this follows very smooth lines in here, right? But right now it has very sharp edges. So to prevent it has like to smoothly connecting these two, Then you're using a tangent tool to connect these two lines in here. Tangent with this end and this end. And what tangent tool helps is it will match the curvature with two different curves and combine them match the curvature in the end from end to end. Okay. And I think this should be enough. And for safety, I'm gonna make sure this is a little bit inside of this shell main shader. And to prevent some confusion, I'm gonna using a mirror tool because I try to draw this some shape sketches in here. And probably it has some weird shape like this. Okay, here. And from here, as I said, like at first, I'm gonna creating a main shade using this tool. And as you can see here, like you need to double check that since it is not unselectable, so make sure that go back to your sketch tree and make sure that this will be on the top, like attached into our main center line. This, finish the sketch and using a revolve tool to create main body and re-show our sketches. And again, using a revolve tool to create the top one. And since there are one piece, so I'm gonna using a join tool to combine these two pieces. And then using an extrude tool because it looks like a flat from the both side. And using a symmetric. For this one, I'll go for a new body because it looks like they are separate with each other. Or maybe I should combine with this the main body in here. So now we have main shader. And since the internal part should be empty, right? Not like this full solid. And to convert automatically empty this internal part is we are using a shell. And what shell tool helps is like it will making automatically internal walls, making a shell, and selected face will be the open part. So in this cases, this selected face will be the open part, and the rest of internal part will be automatically creating an internal shell. So for example, if I write down here 3 mm, then as you can see here, it automatically create the shell inside of the sketches like this, automatically. The thickness of 3 mm of the shell will be automatically creating internally in the full shapes of this shader. Maybe I think this is a little thick, so I'll go for 2 mm. And press OK. And so like let's return on the canvas. And so like now the shader neck part are done. So let's go back to see the other part. New sketches. And I'll probably draw one center line which share for everything from this neck part and also the main body in here. And I'll draw the main underneath part, which will be the red one. And this little bit of, I think like it has some little chamfer in here, like like this. like just a little bit until like here, and then goes all the way down to here. And for here, as you can see here, it has some little curvature shape from here. For this one, let's go for this rounding shape. Let's go for like a sphere or flat. Let's go for sphere in these cases. Flat for these cases. And finish the sketch. And as you can see here, we can creating revolve tool for our main body and re-show the sketches and creating a metallic sheet. And the important part is since we know it looks like this neck part and this red part are separate, right? So this time we are not going to using a join tool, but we're going to make sure that it will be select new body to make sure that these two parts are separate with each other. And again, using a revolve tool for the center axis. Again, here, like this are two red and the metallic color, right? There are differences. So not the join, but press new body to separate it two colors. And for here, I think like they're metal, so I'm gonna creating them in a one piece. Here, let's go for one piece. So new body, symmetry, and probably this kind of shape, but before they make sure to turn off the neck and press join, creating this part. And add some fillet edges there, like this. Okay. And we have the lines, we have the main headlamp. And also, I'm gonna add some fine finishings, like such as edges, like here, just a little bit. And also this part as well, just a little bit to finish the appearances. And the other reason why I need to separate the bodies, I usually separate bodies based on the materiality. Because as you can see in these photos, that red one and the outer part are differences, right? And also the center part is metal. And from here, I think there's an option. You can combine this neck part with the main, like this cylindrical part, or you can also separate it for like the assembly part. It is your optional, but as you can see here again, like this head shader and this one are like a red coated metal, but this is just stainless steel. So that is why I separate bodies with like a neck shader, the red under cover, the bottom one, and the center lines, and then like a square shape outer one for decorative. Okay, so this is the guide videos for using how to using a sweep tool, and also try to thinking of how you can creating the various simple shape and convert into this kind of beautiful lamp shape. Thank you for listening.